It's
Okay,
true.
welcome back. Glad to have you on again.
Thank you for having me. We're doing true Gonzo style video making. This is a spontaneous call.
Yes, no, I'm a big fan. Some people don't like this about me, but I really enjoy being spontaneous. Some people are annoyed because they feel like I'm doing things at the last minute or the last second. It's not like I'm trying to do things at the last second. I just like being spontaneous. I just like not I've had too many times where my plans don't work out or go south. I kind of stop making plans. I like doing things just, I don't know. I just like kind of going with the flow, I guess.
You're like a force of nature. You gotta get out when the weather's nice. You gotta go out and do something.
Right?
Strike while the iron's hot. That's what we're doing.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's good. I feel like it's more genuine too, because I mean, literally, I was just like, hey, you want to do a call? And you were like, yeah, so here we are.
Here we are,
Okay,
and it,
so
it gives me a great excuse because I don't have any material prepared, so I'm just riding along. Let's go.
well,
Let's
yes,
go.
hop on board. It's kind of like do you ever remember the LSD tests back in like the 60s or whenever? They would just
Hmm.
I guess took a bus around the country and like tripping. I don't know. I guess never mind. I don't want to make that comparison, but
Right.
I was gonna say hop on board the electric dog hating machine, but I don't know. Anyway,
The sheepy, well, the sheepy dream machine. We'll
yeah,
go with.
there you go. So I kind of have a topic in mind, but nothing really prepared, so I thought we'd just kind of do an off the cuff commentary.
Mhm.
And
Sounds great.
right. So my inspiration or the reason I thought of this was I we hear a lot of justified criticism of women as far as being, pit mommies and things like that. Um, but I want to just talk about kind of women also suffer greatly due to dog culture in kind of like unique ways. Um, and just due to the nature of being a woman, you know? So I've seen so many stories on Tales from the Doghouse from women, especially who are pregnant, and
Mm.
either they have a dog that they hate or they grow to hate the dog more after becoming pregnant, or even in the worst cases, their husband or boyfriend will just show up with a dog while she's already pregnant and then kind of expect her to, you know, take the brunt of the responsibility for the dog that she didn't even want in the first place.
Right.
Yeah, so that's kind of just, I don't know, what was on my mind. So
Which
here's an
is,
example.
if
Oh,
I
go
could,
ahead.
if I could real quick throw in real quick too, that
Yeah.
that action by the male is a failure of their protector role as well. It's like something went haywire in their operation. Yeah, I'm going to bring this dangerous animal around my expecting wife. You know, not only for the fact that it has sharp teeth, but as far as hygiene and things like that. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
absolutely. And
let
that's
you.
something that'll stand out in some of these stories is, I mean, even this one. So let's take a look. I'm pregnant and have started to despise my husband's dog. My husband, 32, and I, 26, have been together for 6 years and married for almost two. He has a pit mix. There is a huge red flag already for 11 years. Blah, blah, blah. Now, this,
11 years.
yeah, this is an old dog.
All right.
She was pretty sweet and didn't have any major behavioral issues besides being horrible on a walk, barking uncontrollably at people, jumping on people, being a maniac about food. Like what?
It's not so bad except for all these things that are bad.
Right. There's so much like cognitive dissonance going on,
Yeah.
like all of
Yeah.
the time, because I would consider every one of, even just one of those, a major behavioral issue. It's just bizarre to me that you could say no major behavioral issues and then list several. But, anyways, it continues. My husband and I can't snuggle without her. He can't jokingly pick me up without her aggressively jumping on me. Uh,
Mm.
blah blah blah. They spoon every night together while I sleep in the guest room. Like there is a lot going on here. uh, I that alone
We
would
need to.
be
I need to clarify that they spoon, meaning the dog and the man spoon,
yes. The
and the
dude
dog spoon.
spoons with
Yeah.
his baby girl,
Oh,
while his
good.
pregnant wife, I guess, sleeps in the guest room.
That's
Um,
interesting timing too. Again, to go back on the age thing, because clearly that dog doesn't have much time left.
mhm.
So, is it kind of like he's phasing out the dog into the girlfriend slash fiance, or should she expect? We haven't gone through the whole story. Is she going to expect a new one? They're going to be on the way too. But yeah, I can love you fully, honey. Once Daisy passes, or whatever her name, Lala, Lana, Nala,
Right.
whatever her name is. Once she passes, then all my attention is yours.
See, I
Mm,
don't know. She doesn't
please continue.
mention in here, and really, this happens a lot, unfortunately. Um, this woman is saying, "Can anyone else relate?" She's scared that the dog's gonna hurt the baby, which is definitely a legitimate fear. But then she says, "I
Yeah,
feel super alone. I'm considering talking to a therapist because I'm constantly in a bad mood because of the dog." A lot of times, unfortunately, these people in Tales from the Doghouse, it's not necessarily dog free people. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of
right.
times, these
Yeah.
people end up thinking that they have a problem. Like, it's a problem that they started hating the dog. You'll see that come up in some of these we'll go over. The woman becomes pregnant, and it's like her maternal instincts finally really kick in. And she starts hating the dog, but then worries that means something's wrong with her, or it's just hormonal and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, because
Could we
this
review
is.
again?
Huh?
Could we review again what their relationship is? I know that she probably said it. Are they fiance? They're married. They're
It
dating.
says
What's
they've been
their
married for 2 years, almost 2 years, and together for 6. So when she was 20, she got together with this guy, and they've been married since she was 24, is what it
dog's
looks
been
like.
there the whole time?
And the dog's been there for, yeah, he had the dog way before she and him got together, it looks like.
But they are pregnant, and she's pregnant, and they are married.
Yes.
I'm just getting a sense of this because one thing, and I've got tales from the doghouse stories in IRL, right? My real life. I've met people that they could go on here. Heck, I've got my own stories. If I start thinking back to my childhood, I've got tales from the doghouse stories. But is a quick armchair psychology type of analysis for all this stuff, something I'd like us to keep in mind is that dogs seem like a proxy for dysfunction in relationships. Like there's something wrong with the husband and how he connects with people, and the dog just becomes this kind of like this thing that projects that all. And the same now, I would say, and also for the female because she doesn't realize this. Hey, look, we have a serious problem connecting and communicating between the two of us, the two human beings. We can't connect and communicate. So now she's looking at it's like the dog is the problem. The dog is a symptom. It's not the cause. So it's like a proxy to these failed dysfunctional relationships from people who have a hard time communicating, connecting with people. So that's just something I've been like a lens I'm looking at it through. But I'd like you to continue, please, with your analysis.
Oh, no, yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think that this is something we've talked about before, maybe not on a call or anything, but dog owners in general seem to tend to have a lot of the, what is it, like cluster B or whatever, like personality disorders. Like they're already maybe like more narcissistic to begin with.
Yes.
And they are looking at the dog almost like a mirror, is how I've always seen it. It's almost like because they can project anything they want onto that dog. Whatever they want
Right.
to believe that dog is thinking, they can because the dog will never disagree. And a lot of these
Exactly.
people, I've heard this in my own personal life too. God, I have some tales from the doghouse stories that I've never talked about. But these people like want like they want to have something that will never question them in any way. They want to feel like it's some form of like unconditional love. Uh because like they can't, like you said, relate to people in a way that is conflict free. I mean, everyone's going to have conflicts, right? Like that's normal. That's part
Right.
of every relationship is going to have like some conflict, and you have to mature to a level that you can solve these conflicts reasonably. A lot of these people seem to be incapable of doing that. They're emotionally stunted. They're um what's the word I'm looking for? It's like arrested development. A lot of these people
Hmm.
are just immature. Like even if they're older, they've just never matured mentally or emotionally somehow.
Human relationships are hard.
Right, but they're
They
rewarding.
require, yeah, yeah, of course. They're far more rewarding than a worthless dog, but they're hard. They require work. They require compromise. It's not like a Disney movie. Whereas a dog relationship is like a Disney movie. Oh, everything's always perfect because I say so. Oh, the way he looks at me, oh, it's always perfect, and he's always loyal, and he's always by my side. That's why dogs are better than people. And you hear, and that's my big one that I keep going back to, that phrase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, the dog, uh, well, we know the dog actually, is just a parasitic, basically scavenging creature. And yeah, it
Yeah.
says a lot more about these people's mentality than anything, like you were saying. So, yeah, I would expect, just I guess to analyze this one a little bit, I would expect the guy to basically be like, well, this dog's been here longer than you have, and I'm not getting rid of it. And she's either going to have to leave and take the baby, or he's going to leave with the dog if she gives him an ultimatum. And I would also expect, just from experience, that when this dog finally does kick the bucket, the dude's gonna want another one at some point.
Hmm?
So it's kind of like, in my view, uh, if you commit yourself to a dog nutter, basically, that's gonna be your life. You know what I mean? Like, chances are, like, you're going to have to deal with dogs for the rest of your life. So I would
Mhm.
ask myself, like, do I want to deal with dogs for the rest of my life? My answer would be no, absolutely not. So I would say, cut your losses and move on. But I know
Not
it's
not
not
only do you
always
have
that
to deal with
easy.
it, not only do you have to deal with it for the rest of your life, but that dog will always be placed as a priority over you for the rest of your life. You're not as
Yes.
important
Yes.
emotionally, kind of like in a hierarchy of a person's emotional needs. Well, there's the dog, and then there's you. Like your second. I hear people complain a lot how in online dating, the current trend with everybody posting profiles with pictures of their dogs. And I hear that as a complaint. I say that's a great thing. It saves you a lot of time. Right in that first picture, if you see them, hugging and kissing their dog, okay, move on. You swipe to the side, or whatever. I don't know. I don't do that stuff. I don't know what it means even. Swipe next,
Yeah,
next.
I've never used an
But
online dating thing, but I know kind of what you're talking about. Like on Tinder or something, I guess you swipe
yeah,
left or right.
well, I see it. There's some Facebook groups I've been a part of, and they're showing up there too. That everybody's it's like a dating group, but these types of groups don't go anywhere. But it's a dating group, but uh, everybody's showing their pictures of their dog. So it just saves you a lot of times that they show that. But I certainly understand the frustration of it. Like there's so many people that do it. It's hard to find somebody who's not. Uh, and you're always going to be, they're telling you with that picture, they're telling you right away where you're going to stand in their list of priorities. That dog is always going to be more important than you and your
Yeah,
children.
absolutely. I've seen a story on here. I'll search for it uh, in a minute, but there was a woman who her husband was like that, and the dog finally died, and she kind of thought, "Oh, thank God it's finally over." And
I'm
then
free.
but it wasn't. And I think the
Right.
title was even something like, the dog's haunting me even after it's dead or something crazy like that. Because she was talking about how, like, so she and her husband had gotten married, and they were going to try to celebrate their 1 year anniversary, but the dog had died from the time they got married to between their wedding and the 1 year anniversary. So her husband was crying on their 1 year wedding anniversary, watching their wedding video because the dog was in the wedding. Like, it had been
Ugh.
a part of the wedding. And she said she was crying on their 1 year wedding anniversary because while she was hoping that they would be celebrating and happy, he was crying over a dog, and she was crying that he was crying over a dog. Like, can you even imagine? And then I guess, like, they moved to a new house, and the very first thing that he brought into the new house was the dog's old, dirty bowls and dog bed. And, like,
Ugh.
the dog's ashes were the first thing to go up on the mantle. It's just, as a woman, and I'm sure as a man too, but just I can't speak from that perspective. But as a woman, I can't imagine feeling more kind of like sad and worthless. And then if my man was like, yeah, like putting a dog above me. I mean, I'm sure men would feel horrible too if their wife was like that, but it's just so sad that human relationships are being treated in this way over like a dog.
Yeah, the hijacking. That made your
Yes.
story here just made me think of something. I had to look it up, and I'm trying to. We're having some technical issues here. Where's the? I want to send you a link. Maybe you should continue while I work on this technical thing. I'm gonna send you some eye-opening videos
Okay.
that I found.
Yeah, well, like I said, this is a nice off the cuff call, so I'm not worried about having little pauses here and there. But while you do that, let me look at another one of these stories. So this one stood out. He chose a dog over me and our baby. So the first major red flag happened during a weekend away. We went to a restaurant and there was a group of diners with a German shepherd on the floor. He chose the seat nearest the dog. I told him, "Don't touch that dog. If you do, don't touch me. I was 7 months pregnant." Soon into the meal, he started vying for the attention of the dog. He looked like an older dog, not looking for anyone to play. He asked the woman to pet it. Blah, blah, blah. The story goes on, and the whole dinner, he's like obsessed with this dog. He starts giving their food to this dog.
Uh,
This is, reminder, this is a total strange dog in a
right,
restaurant with his pregnant wife, where he should be enjoying like a nice meal out with her before their
right.
baby arrives. Uh, And she explicitly asked him not to touch the dog, and then if he did, not to touch her, and he did both things. So, like you said earlier, these are really symptoms of larger issues the dog becomes a proxy for. Um, Anyways, then 3 months after their baby was born, he promised his brother, that he would dog sit without his wife's knowledge. When she found out, she refused, but he spent 2 days trying to convince her that a Staffordshire Bull Terrier is the perfect family dog and is great around babies, even though that dog had attacked and injured another dog. So, like you said, what is wrong with this guy? He has no instinct to protect his newborn?
Right.
A Staffordshire Terrier is the worst possible dog. Anyways, he ended up still like bringing the dog to the house. She left to a different country. This is kind of a long story, so I'm summarizing. But she ended up uh, running away from him essentially, and um, it says I don't know what country they're in, but they're in the EU somewhere. So she said if she hadn't run away before they were married, she would have not been allowed by immigration to leave with the dual nationality baby. And they even have a special visa for women in her position, and she would have been stuck there for 18 years had she not run when she did.
Mm.
The most he
Wow.
can now do is exercise visitation rights with no custody since they were not married. He's still reeling in disbelief. I mean, good for her. I'm
Remarkable.
glad she got away.
Yeah. These are remarkable stories when you hear about them
I
and just
know.
how, what now, here's a quote from the Bible. I'm sure you've heard of it. I'm not a Christian, by the way. I'm not proselytizing to anybody, but I have studied a lot of religion. It does to me hold a lot of cultural significance and relevance. So, Matthew 15:26, but he answered and said, "It is not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to the dogs." Yeah. Don't take the children's bread and cast it to the dogs. Okay? That is mentioned right there. Like what a disgrace, what a sinful act that is, that you're prioritizing this lowly beast over your own offspring. There's something's not right in your head. And I can't find a way right now to send you these links, but maybe you can do a quick search. Do you want to find a video
Yeah, for sure.
that'll give us a little fun here?
Let's do
Uh,
it.
hop onto YouTube. Let's do it.
Oh, God.
And enter, uh, like in the YouTube search bar, put lab steals spotlight with father dogter.
With father doctor?
Yeah, like I guess like father, but dogter. Dogter. Dance at wedding.
Oh, here it is.
I'm
Goodness.
not seeing it though. Is it on
Yes, he
top of
is.
your?
Come on. Round of
That
applause.
might be a Discord thing that I'm still like seeing your Reddit.
Oh, really? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, because I'm only sharing the window, not the whole
So put
screen. So
that
let
put
me
that into a
switch.
tab. Put it into a tab in the same like the same block as your Reddit there, and then just shift the tab over. It's viewing that page.
Okay, on
So
my
you just kind of,
Streamlabs it is showing the video.
oh, okay. Well, maybe
So I think
that's
it's
I
working.
see.
I think you might need to just refresh your Discord, maybe.
Probably.
All
But
right.
I'll assume you got it. But go ahead and let's take a look at that
Okay, let me
that
get to
fine
the
video, and
point
then I got a
just
second one.
quickly. Okay.
Applause, everybody.
All right.
This crew is celebrating my release. This crew
Yes, he
celebrated
is. Come on. Round of
father
applause,
doctor
everybody.
status. Oh my god. I would be running. I would even run away from it.
Yeah, this is a thing that happened.
Look at the dog.
And
It just looks so dumb. It has no idea what's going
no
on.
idea, no idea what's going on. And he's so pleased with it.
That
Look at
dude
how,
is like kissing the dog. He's like rubbing his head on its face and
oh,
ears. He's like making out with the dog at his wedding. Where is the wife? I want to see the look on her face right now. Of course, she's not even in the video. Is she? Is
that
that
might
her
be
play in
her.
the
She
back?
looks like she absolutely
Yeah, that
loves
might be
it.
her sitting, like kind of burying her face in her hand. I'm not sure.
Oh my god.
Hard to say.
See that window in the back? You would see me
All
running.
right.
With
One
my
more
wedding dress,
time.
I would be just running. If I somehow even got in a situation with a nutter like this.
But not only his nutter behavior, but
Yes, he is.
everybody else
Round
there
of applause,
I
everybody.
mean,
engaging in it.
right. These people come
Uh,
from nutter families, is the thing. We talked about this last time. The answer is with the children and the youth, because, like you said, you give me a child until he's 7, and I'll give you the man.
right.
This guy probably grew up with his dad worshiping dogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or his mom. But, like, a lot of times I feel like dads in particular seem to think that dogs are some kind of integral part of a son's um I don't know what, like, coming of age or something. You know what I mean? Like it's important for a boy to have a dog type of thing.
Yeah, I do know, and yeah, I seem to recall that yeah, boys get dogs and then girls get cats, something to that effect. You get something like that too. And I think I've covered before too. If the idea is to teach you to be better with people, whatever, we were talking about like the reading, how they're having children read to the dogs, and if the idea is to get them to read better to people, Well, then you do that by reading to people. You don't, let the boy have friends. He doesn't need to be alone with a dog.
Right.
Uh,
100%.
uh, Here's another video for you.
Okay,
I
I'm
don't, I don't know
ready.
how easy this will be to find. Here, you're ready. This one's on the New York Post. Take that for what you will. But
Okay.
New York Post, dog joins couple for their first wedding dance.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's possibly on YouTube too. You might find it on YouTube or the New York Post site. And it's not that I was combing the New York Post. It's just that I did the quick search because I remember seeing these videos with people dancing with their dogs at weddings. This is like next level nutter insanity.
Hopefully. Oh goodness.
How much does a wedding cost?
I don't know, but at least like a cheap wedding is probably still at least what, like 10 grand? Probably maybe more. I don't know. I have never paid for an expensive wedding, but here we go. Analyze this for a second. First of all, a wedding dress alone is what, a few $1,000s minimum? And it's gonna be covered in dog hair and like get ripped by the dog's claws.
This is supposed to be their special day, monumentous occasion, monumentous. Sorry.
Right. Sorry, I'm
This is
flabbergasted.
this is yeah. They're supposed to be sitting down 30 years from now with like a photo album showing it to their kids. Oh, and remember, and they're holding hands. This is like obviously it's not. It's kind of a fantasy, but this is what you're thinking. Yeah, 30, 40 years from now, they'll be embracing each other on the couch with their grandkids or with their children and pulling out the photo album. And look, and you were so handsome back then. Oh, and you look beautiful in that dress, honey. And oh, do you remember the cake? And oh, how about that music? No, but now it's going to be, oh, and our dog Snookums really stole the show. Everybody loved that.
I
That
know,
becomes
and
the focus
well,
of the wedding.
like, okay,
Oh, the nutter's like that. Oh, it's just like people. He's just having on two legs.
I'm trying to see
He's better than people.
noise. The dog, okay, the dog turns to lick its genitals, and now the couplers. Wow, what a joyous memory of our special, beautiful day. This could be,
Can you
especially
imagine?
though, this could, no, because this could never happen for, I couldn't imagine. I would be getting a divorce, like, I would annul the, first of all, the wedding wouldn't be happening. Secondly, if it somehow did, and he brings his dog onto our first dance, annulment, like,
What's
um,
that term when you leave him at the altar? I guess it's just you leave him at the altar, right? You'd be leaving him at the altar. Yeah,
runaway, I mean, I'm just thinking of like runaway bride. I don't, is there a term for that? There
that's it.
probably is.
I think there is. Can you
Um,
imagine too, like when the priest says, "If anyone here has any objections to the forming of this union or whatever," and then the dog like takes a dump in the aisle.
God, I can't. I There's more than one of these. There's a People magazine. Golden
Yeah,
Retriever joins couple for their first dance. This is a different couple. Is this like a thing?
yeah.
Bride's
Well,
first
this is a thing.
dance gate crashed by adorable dog.
There's
Oh,
another thing too is that everybody's attention should be on the event, should be on the bride and the groom.
right.
It's their day. But instead, everybody's looking at the dog. Everybody's cooing at the dog. Everybody's, going all googly eyed over the dog. And this isn't just this wedding thing. I've noticed this with a lot of videos, recent videos of special events. What's another one I saw? Those things. What do they call it when they gender reveal party, where they
Oh,
get together and
yes.
they have oh, we're gonna do some crazy thing to show you what our baby's going to be. And then now it's like about the dog too, and the dog's at the center of attention. The dog will pop the balloon that will show what the gender will be. You know,
Well, I'm
you
sure
see the
you've
one
seen
where
this. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, last thing I'll say about those gender reveals, I saw one with, because they those are kind of absurd in my opinion. Uh, they saw one where they would hire pilots, like flying little like crop duster type planes.
Oh my god.
And I shouldn't laugh, but yeah, there's one where somebody hired a pilot to fly by and release the smoke and show the gender, but there was a mishap and he crashed, and it's like it's all on video, and it's like kind of just absurd narcissism of our times.
Oh
But,
yeah,
yeah, all I got to
that's
say about that.
ridiculous. Isn't, I mean, there was like a severe wildfire caused by some gender reveal party, I think, at some point. I don't know, don't
Really,
quote me on the details, but yeah, they're just like,
yeah,
I keep going back to this. I mentioned it on every call we've had, but the conspicuous consumption, like, to
Mm,
me, it's just like a perfect example of that.
right.
Just this weird
And
aspirational thing people keep, I don't know, it's like they're trying to outdo each other.
well, that's a sign of the times too. It's funny, yeah, because the more we talk about this, we realize we're not so much talking about dogs. We're talking about something went wrong in the human condition, and dogs are just the symptom. But yeah, we live in this "hey, look at me" type of world. Everybody wants to shock everybody and astonish them, and I'm going to surprise them with my here. Look, I got these talents, and nobody knows. And then look everybody, wow, look at me. Uh, everybody's dancing. I love that video from some comedian I found. I'll have to send that to you sometime. But uh, you remember back, especially like in 2020, 2022, everybody was dancing all the time. Like they were recording themselves doing dance videos and TikTok
Yes.
dance videos.
Yeah, I
The
think
dancing nurses during COVID, you might remember, and all that.
that's what came to mind.
And yeah, so yeah, it's a funny video. I'll send it to you. And oh, you can probably find it on YouTube. It's like 2022 be like
Be like?
2022 be yeah be like dot dot dot. Able to see your Discord screen, so I'm doing a lot of this blind right now. I'll just
Oh.
trust that you find it. But
Um, 2022 be like dot dot dot. I'm not seeing.
you might see something with people looking like they're dancing in the background.
Yeah, a lot of stuff's coming up, but I'm not sure if it's what you're. Oh wait, be like. I think I found it. Hold on.
This is a bit of a segue, but it's entertaining as hell.
Yeah, no, I believe you. I'm just not finding. Okay, hold on. 2022 be like. I don't know. You might have to send me a link because it's just a lot of random stuff popping up.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's living in 2022 be like,
Oh, all right, gotcha.
and you'll see a guy like holding a book, a shoebox in the thumbnail.
I see a guy standing in the aisle of a grocery store dancing, I think.
That might be it. Sometimes the thumbnails generate differently.
It's just a bunch of people like dancing. Yeah, this is what it was like. Except you were dying of COVID in the hospital and the nurses were dancing. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. This is what you're talking about. The guy's holding a shoebox. Yep. Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Right. This is the world we live in. So everybody's like, "Oh, look at me!" And I'm so astonished. I like the pair of baristas near the end, especially. They're kind of they're really the showstopper.
Oh
Uh,
no.
yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
yeah.
Look at me.
What the
Look what
heck?
I can do. There was a show back in the oh gosh, might even still be around, but it was like late '90s, 2000s. It had a long run. It was called Mad TV. It's kind of
Oh yeah, I remember
like a
Mad
sketch
TV.
comedy thing.
Mhm.
And there was a character named Stewart, an adult. He played it was like a little kid, It's like a hyperactive disorder or something. Yeah, look what I can do. Okay, that's our world now. Everybody's Stewart
It really
from Matt
is.
TV. Look what I can do. So, now let's have a wedding, and now our dog's going to dance and ride on a skateboard, and it'll pilot a crop duster, and and drop balloons. you know.
Oh man, here we go. Let's take. Can you see my. Okay. I pulled up this one because I've seen this before and it's a good one. Husband's rancid retriever. I am
Boy,
currently 10
I'll have
months
to look it up
pregnant.
independently.
Oh, well, you can watch the video when it premieres on YouTube then.
Oh no, no, actually, I do see it here. No, no, I do
Okay.
see your Reddit page still. Like it's stuck on the Reddit page. Yeah,
All right, you're just gonna have to trust me that the other stuff is recording on the screen record.
your laughter told me that it worked. So
Yes.
I got it. Yes.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this one I remember because she's 10 weeks pregnant, dealing with a lot of morning sickness that's easily spurred by bad smells. I don't know if you know this, but it's really common. During pregnancy, women generally get like an incredibly um, strong sense of smell. Like our sense of
Mm,
smell improves dramatically. Like we can smell everything. I don't know why it happens. I think it's, just something to do with like, I don't know, preparing for your baby to come and you're just like hyper aware of the environment. But
right.
yes, you can get a real I remember this happening to me. Like you just you're just acutely aware of smells. Like you have like a superhuman sense of smell. Okay, so I believe her is what I'm saying because this has happened to me. I've had to put up with my husband's golden retriever for over a year. I've finally just accepted that it's here to stay for 11 years till it dies. He bought and paid for it, despite me displaying visual reluctance, and he loves the stupid mutt, otherwise, I would have already sold it to someone else. My husband is going through flight training for the Navy, which means we move a lot till he finishes his primary training. Why would you buy a dog when you're like in the Navy or where you're going through flight training? Like, this is kind of what I was talking about in the beginning. Women are just expected to be the ones that deal with this. Like the husband wants a
Right.
dog and he's not caring for the dog. He's not there
Right.
a lot. He's leaving a lot. There was another story where a woman her husband bought a dog without her permission or consent and then left for like navy or like some military training where he was physically like gone or like deployed. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Women
He wants it
are
for that one moment. I'm sorry. He wants it for that one moment when he comes home and he's, I'm home, and then the dog comes up and greets him, and and I missed you, boy, and all that, and then
yes.
it's the remaining 99.9% of all the time that the dog exists. Of course, it's under the care of basically like all the problems and caretaking and all that. It falls upon someone else, but he gets that one moment. That's what he wants it for.
Exactly. And I guess the my vision or like point of this video was just, from a woman's perspective, that someone else who ends up having to actually clean the shit up off the floor, vacuum
Right.
the hair from everywhere, sweep and mop all the time, whether we're working or stay at home, you know, most of the domestic labor still falls to women most of the time,
Hmm.
whether or not they're stay at home wives or mothers or working full time. There's still, a lot of expectations that women are the ones who, this is like women's work, and when you bring a dog, it's already enough when it's laundry, dishes, cooking, you know what I mean, just general tidying up and stuff. And then you add a dog to that, the
Right.
level of filth a single dog creates. It's
Right.
just, I don't know. I feel like for whatever reason, there are plenty of, female dog nuts, but there's also a lot of male dog nutters and a lot of women who are put in these positions where, like you said, the husband wants to come home, pet the dog for a second when it's all excited to greet him, and then walk away to his man cave, You know what I mean? And just ignore while the
Hmm.
woman's like taking the dog out, cleaning up messes and stuff like that. I don't know. That's kind of just the point I wanted to make. And there's a lot of stories from women who are dealing with that issue.
I can, it's sort of a detour, but not too much. But this also reminds me of how the old imagery of the dog, like from the idealized household of, say, the 1950s, and the rise in popularity of dog ownership back at that time. A lot of that was because you had a stay-at-home mom, a stay-at-home wife that could take care of the dog. And nowadays, one I think a factor to why the dogs are such a huge problem now as to compare to maybe in the past. One of the many reasons is that, well, now you have households where both partners work, and you don't have, and so now you have this high maintenance animal that required somebody before that it was pretty much their whole job was taking care of the home. Well, now you don't have that, so they're not given, the attention and the stimulation and the exercise and all the other huge list of things that dogs require. They're very needy animals.
Yes.
I think it just compounds the problem, the fact that they are so needy. It used to fall upon the stay-at-home wife, but and now in cases where that's, and it still obviously does, as in these stories they're giving us from Tale in the Doghouse, but uh, in some cases where it doesn't, it's just like there's not enough care for these animals, and they just run amok. They just run amok without all the proper attention.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've always, not always, but I've been thinking for a long time now that dogs are treated like a pet, right? Like they're just a thing that you have. But like honestly, like you said, they're so needy and so energy intensive that like honestly, it's having a dog is like your lifestyle. Like if you want to have a dog,
Right,
it's either like you said, either the dog is being neglected and it's causing chaos and running amok because it's not getting the amount of attention it requires, or it's literally your lifestyle. Like it's not a pet. Like it's this thing requires so much attention that it has to be your entire life revolving around it.
right. And the
Which
culture has
nobody
shifted.
really wants that. All these people have dogs, but they don't want actually to take care, like they don't really want the responsibility. Like so many other things in our society now, like nobody actually wants the responsibility. They just want the item. They want like some kind of instant gratification, but they're not willing to put in the work or able to put in the work that it actually requires. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Do.
It's
But the dog culture, the culture surrounding this whole thing has escalated to this point where it's become a virtue that you will put up with that. So now it's like, well, look at all the care and attention I give to my dog, and he gets all the best treatment, and the best toys, and the best food, and I take him to play and all this, and it's so now you have these people who are like enslaving themselves to service of dog, like it's a higher calling or something. It's
right.
like it's somehow some virtuous spiritual thing.
Like it's a
Yeah.
child or something. Like I've seen, believe this or not, there are like school buses for dogs now. Like a school bus will
What?
come pick your dog up for doggy daycare. I
Oh
swear I'm
no.
not making it up.
This
Like
is
unless it was a fever dream and I
okay.
just like had a nightmare.
I don't know if you hear me furiously typing. I'm looking this up right now.
I am too because I
I've never.
don't.
Oh my God, no, you weren't
Yeah,
you weren't
no.
imagining it. I was
Okay,
kind of
good.
hoping I was
I was
hoping you were
hoping
having a
too.
psychotic break. Like, oh no, this is real. If you pull it, just put up like school bus for dogs, you'll pull it up for your viewers. My goodness,
It
yeah,
is,
doggy school
yeah.
bus service gives pups time for exercise, fun. It's a yellow bus, just like your kids, just like
Yes.
the ones your kids drive right
See,
in.
this should
Yeah.
be an episode of The Twilight Zone, but unfortunately, it's our current reality. It is current year, and doggy daycare bus is going viral on TikTok.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
My dog isn't lonely at
Look at
home.
it.
Adorable doggy school bus picks up Evans Winterman's dog. Uh, okay, I just can't. But really quick, I wanted to finish this one because this is serious stuff. Like, so this
Yeah.
pregnant woman with the husband is leaving. I didn't know this because I'm not familiar with like the Navy, but this says that primary flight training is a rigorous program that lasts 22 weeks. My husband has made it sound like he'll be too busy to fully care for the dog that he bought, right? He got this dog and now he's
Right.
telling his wife, "Oh, I'm going off to flight school. I'm not going to be able to
That's
take
nearly
care
six
care of the
months, by the
dog."
way. I mean, it's just short
Right.
of half a year.
I'm just now realizing I will have to take care of this dog I didn't want all the way to the end of her third trimester. And it goes on. She added an edit. I'm now dealing with a very graphic subchorionic hematoma. That is a serious problem. So she doesn't explain, but she does say that means she's on bed rest now. That can actually result in her and the baby's death. So what that means is, do you know what that means? A subchorionic
Uh,
hematoma.
I have some idea, but why don't you go ahead and
So
give
I'm
me
pretty
the best?
sure, I might Google it really quick just to be positive, but I think that it
I mean, it's
means,
clotting involved.
yes. So you know how like when a woman is pregnant, um, inside her uterus there is, all right, let me just, I don't want to say something wrong, so I'm just gonna Google it.
Yeah, I didn't want to say something wrong either. We're
But
talking about something very serious. We got to be
yeah,
correct here.
basically, yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking.
Under
So,
the chorion membrane, yeah,
right.
a clot under the chorion membrane.
Okay, right. This is what I was wanting to say. So, inside of the uterus, the baby is basically getting all of its blood and nutrients from the mother, right? Through the amniotic sac. Or like this membrane is what is attaching the amniotic sac to the uterus. So, if so there's blood collecting between that membrane and her uterus.
Right,
If it were to like rupture, she could like bleed to death, right? And the baby could basically die. That's why she's being put on bed rest. So yeah, it says if the bleeding is excessive and the hematoma is large, it's a high risk pregnancy. I mean, basically, things can go severely wrong during a pregnancy and put a woman and the baby's life at risk. You know? So why would people be expecting this woman to walk a large unruly dog while she has the possibility of basically bleeding to death if something were to go wrong?
right.
You know what I mean? It's just, I can't do
Was
this
this a
without
Rottweiler?
passing
Could you
full-size
read?
notes. It's a
I
golden
forget
retriever, I
what kind of
think.
golden retriever. Large dog,
It's a
and you know
large
that thing's
dog.
jumping on it.
Right. I think she already mentioned that. I don't know. I've read so many of these stories that they all kind of blend together because all dogs, it turns
Yeah,
out, have the same annoying habits.
right.
But yeah, it's just, here's a comment that I agree with. Any man that chooses his dog over the safety or well being of his wife and unborn child is not a man you should be with.
Yes. Well said. I'm doing the Orson Welles slow clap right now. Very, very good. Yeah, very good. Yeah, as I said earlier in the call, this to me, all these things are a failure of the male, as protector and provider. Giving your children's food to a dog,
Right.
putting your wife and child in at risk from a dog. You're failing as a protector and a provider. And I know that perhaps in the current year, perhaps these types of ideas of gender roles, they're probably considered antiquated by many, but I still think in the male female dynamic, I still hold to that one. I think as a man, if you have a child, if you have a wife, they come first. Like your wife comes first when you get married. And then once you have children, that child comes first. And the idea that you would allow some stupid animal to get anywhere near them on the hierarchy is just completely alien to me. I don't know where we're at as a collectively to think this way.
I agree. And yeah, I don't think I could have said it any better. Um, and I think it goes both ways, but there are differences just due to the nature of, there's differences between men and women. And I don't think that it's wrong or antiquated to assume that in a marriage, like the man's role would be that of like protector and provider. Whether or not, I mean, the woman can provide too, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I basically am just saying that I agree with you.
It's nice to feel right about something. Nice to be validated. Yeah.
Awesome.
No,
All right. Well,
it's
I have to get back to my real life soon. So,
no. Well, thanks for having me. It was fun. I think this was a great topic, and it all seems to, there are running themes that we keep touching on as far as just how sort of deep this dog culture goes, like how deeply it's affecting our culture and our very existence as a species. And we're talking about this is like an existential thing. We're talking about women where their offspring are put at risk because of this crazy dog culture. So yeah, this is a
yeah,
big topic.
definitely.
It's important. And
Yep.
I'm glad you brought the female perspective to it.
Oh, yeah. I have more to say. I'm sure we'll talk about it again, but thanks for joining. And yeah, I guess I'll close it out and we'll talk soon.
Will do. Thank you.
Hmm. Bye.
Bye.